Hey everyone, this is Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today we're canning up some butter. And this is right off the shelf what you're gonna get. Some nice, delicious butter. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so today we are canning up some butter to get into the pantry so we have it stocked on our shelves. And you can freeze butter and it freezes very well, but it takes up a lot of space in the freezer and we have very limited freezer space. So we are canning our butter, and I must start this off by telling you this is not something the USDA recommends, or they don't condone this practice in any way, but this is what I do for my family to help us get through when we can find butter on a good deal. I try to stock up on it. I can can it, put it in the pantry. I know we've got it on hand, and this works really well for us. So to get started, all we're going to do is I'm going to turn my oven on to 225 degrees, and I'm going to put my jars in a pan, and we're going to flip them all over. We don't want any water in these jars, so instead of boiling them and to sterilize them, I'm just going to pop them in the oven because they're still a little wet from cleaning them, and this way they will be completely dry. We don't want the water in there with the butter, so that can cause problems. You want to make sure your jars are super dry. So we're just going to sterilize them in the oven, and I am using these 8-ounce wide mouth curd jars. I really like this style because it's straight-sided and it's easy to get the butter out, and just use this for a butter dish. So and I like the 8-ounce size, that way I can take out what I need. It holds just a cup, 2 sticks, easy to measure out when you're cooking with it or anything also. So we're just going to get those in there, and the Ball also makes a wide mouth 8-ounce jar, but this one, it's kind of hard to get the stuff out of these corners. So I like this jar a little bit better. I have canned it in here, but honestly it gets stuck in there. It's hard to get out, and unless you have a bendy knife, I guess that would make it easier. But any straight-sided jar, jelly jars, the regular 8-ounce regular mouth also work well for this, but I like these squat jars, so that's what I'm using today. And we're gonna pop these in the oven at 225 degrees while we're getting everything else ready. You want them in there for at least 15 minutes, probably gonna be 20 to a half an hour before we're ready to put anything in them. So let's get them in the oven. Okay, so next I'm going to put my lids in a pan with some water, and we're just going to pop these in the oven also. That way they're all hot. I want everything hot when I get done, when I put my butter into the glass jar. So I just want everything hot. We're just going to spread these lids out, and you want to make sure you have enough lids for all your jars. And then we're just going to cover these with water just to keep those seals moist. And then we're going to pop them right in the oven. I like to just push them down, make sure everything's wet. We're just going to pop these right in the oven underneath, and they will be nice and warm when the jars are. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my butter in the stock pot. And today I'm doing 6 pounds, which is going to give me 12 jars. And for an 8-ounce jar, you're going to get 2 sticks, about 2 sticks per jar. And so you can figure out how many jars you need to get ready. And we're just going to open each one of these up. I'm using salted butter because that's what I like to cook with. But you can use the unsalted, you can use any kind of butter you want for this, really. I've used a couple different kinds. And this I just got on sale, so I figured it was a really good price. I thought I better put this up so I have some extra. Because you know, nowadays, who knows what's going to happen. Today one thing's limited at the store and tomorrow it's something else, so you don't know. Okay, so we've got all 6 pounds of butter in here. You can see it's heaping full, but you could stack it better and make it fit better. But I just dump it in. And I'm going to turn my burner on a medium high. And I just want to get this melted, and I want to get it really hot, but I do not want to boil this. Okay, so once I've got this all melted and I can't feel any lumps in here, I am going to turn the heat off. I want this super hot, but I don't want this to boil. Okay, so our jars are nice and hot, and they're nice and dry, and they're all sterilized. So I'm going to start putting my butter in here, and I'm going to give this butter a good stir. You can see it starts to separate a little bit. You just want to give it a good stir each time before you put it in the jar. That way all the solids and liquids are all mixed together. So we're just going to fill these up just like you would any jar. I'm going to leave about 1 inch headspace. Where is that? There we go. That's right, about 1 inch headspace. Oh, those jars are hot. Everything is so hot. I like to make sure everything is super, super hot for this because I don't can it for a long time. And if you look around doing research, then you'll see that lots of people do this in lots of different ways. Everybody does it different, and it's what they're comfortable with. So I'm going to move this funnel, and I'm going to take a paper towel, and I like to use white vinegar if I have any meats or anything with fats in it, milk, butter, any kind of meats or anything. If it's got any fats, you definitely want to make sure you get this rim super clean so you get a really good seal. And then my lids are boiling hot in here. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to shake as much water off this as I can. I don't want too much water in there. And we're just going to put my lids right on, and then rings. And I'm going to just finger tight like anything else. You don't want to overdo it because these lids can buckle if it's too much. So we're going to take this and we're going to put these in the canner. I've got it heating up so it's nice and hot, and you can see the butter in there. We're going to put these right in the canner, and I'm going to do 2 jars at a time just to make sure everything is staying super hot. Okay, so we got all our jars loaded in. I decided to melt down 2 more pounds just to fill up the canner more and make use of my space. And I am going to add my lid. Okay, so we're just gonna add our lid and we're gonna get this baby cracking. I've got my temperature turned up on high. We wanna bring this up to get the steam. And make sure this is aligned right. Something's sticking. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna get this lid locked down, and then once we start getting a steady stream of steam out of our vent pipe for 10 minutes, then I'm gonna put my pressure on, my 10 pounds of pressure, and we can get this baby up to pressure. So I'll bring you back. Okay, so we have a steady stream of steam coming out of here. We've had for about 10 minutes. So we're gonna put our weight on and we're gonna bring this up to pressure. My elevation is only about 700 feet, so we only use 10 pounds here, and that's it. We're gonna bring it up to 10 pounds of pressure, right about here, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so we got this baby up to pressure. It's at 10 pounds. I'm gonna turn this off and let this cool down on its own. And they are super duper hot. You can see they're bubbling, and you just wanna let these sit for a little bit until you can get a hold of them and handle them a little bit. And then I just tighten down these rings. If you don't tighten them down, they can, these rings get kind of loose. So I just tighten them down as soon as I can handle them. And then once I can handle them, I'm gonna start shaking. So these are still quite warm, but you can see the fats are separating from the solids. And you wanna shake these about every 10 minutes until they can't shake anymore. And that is just gonna mix everything together, so when it hardens, it's all gonna be a consistent color. If you don't shake them and you let them just get cold and get solidify, they are just going to be two different colors. And you can mix it back together, but this is, I like it so it's just all ready to use and I don't have to mess with it. So every 10 minutes or so when you're walking by, I just take them and shake them up. Give them a good shaking. You want to make sure you torque down these covers first because they can start leaking if you don't. Just give them a nice good shake. Ah, that one's super hot still. So as you get closer, you notice it takes a lot longer for these to separate out the fats from the solids. As you get closer to being done shaking them, this one is just about done. It's starting to harden. We are not shaking this one anymore. So we just want to make sure we give these a good shake, and you can see this one did really well, and it's all the same color from top to bottom. So that one's nice and mixed in and it's not shaking anymore. And this one is just about there. You can see when you shake it, it mixes so good. Okay, so once it has gotten solid again, you're done. I just like to leave these to rest for a while. I'll take my rings off and wash these up really good, label them, and get them into the pantry. But that's it. It's really not hard. The most difficult thing about butter is you have to keep shaking it. And I think they've all sealed and they are good, so they're ready to go, and you can't see the fats, and you can see that the solids are mixed in really good. And that's the key to it, is to just keep shaking until it don't shake no more. And that's it. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.